Welcome back to another episode of Way Too Wifey. I'm your host, respectfully Gabby, and in this podcast we talk all things dating and relationships in this modern day. And if you are new here, hi, my name is Gabby. I am an online dating coach where I help you transform your confidence and live your best lives inside and outside of a relationship. If you've ever had that jealous type of girlfriend, boyfriend, can't seem to get the dating thing figured out, have everything else in your life, but you just don't know where or how to meet the person. If you always find yourself in situationships, always attracting the same kind of partner, I want to work with you. Okay, hit the link right now in my bio. It will tell you everything that you need to know, prices, what I offer, everything. So hit the link in my bio. Let's chat. Let's get through it together. Okay, we are in a dating crisis right now. This is not even a joke, but I'm like kind of smiling about it. But honestly, we are in a crisis. Okay, there are so many single people. They just have not gotten the dating thing figured out, don't know how or what their problem is. They don't know what their problem is. We are going on to a record-breaking number of single people in America and throughout the world. But I want to help you. We got this. We're in this together. By the way, now is your time, if you're watching this on YouTube, to hit that subscribe button, turn on your bell notifications so you'll never miss another episode. And then if you're watching this on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere else that you can watch podcasts, please leave that 5-star rating. It truly does help me out a lot, more than you think. It's just a little clickety click and then you're done. Okay, it helps me. And also, whatever you give out to the universe, you're going to get back. So if you're sending love and positive vibes, that's what's going to come right back to you. So hit that 5-star, not to be a threat, but like, if you don't, you're just kind of a hater. Thank you so much for everyone that has already done so. I appreciate you. You are the reason why I continue this podcast. So thank you so much. And guys, last podcast I talked about wanting to go to London. I literally just booked a trip to London. So I'm fucking pumped. I already have secured my London boyfriend. You know, we remember each other in 3 weeks. And if that talking phase keeps going, but don't want to like dig into that too much because it's been like 3 days. So who knows what's going to happen, but we're in love and it's very not my type at all. But I'm like so open to this idea, personality wise. He's hilarious. I will keep you posted when I do go to London, if I see him, what that's like. But I think it'll be interesting. Different change of pace. The men there are so much different. And I think that it's funny where different countries are like complaining because I'm like, I don't know that you've experienced what I've experienced. We're all going through it. Period, point blank period. But also I think Miami is a whole other ball game, that whole other devil that you don't want to even experience in regards to dating anyway. But you guys, we are talking today about icks. This is such a buzzword used nowadays, and I don't think a lot of people really understand what an ick is. Truthfully, I think it's hilarious because it's a petty thing. People really don't understand what an ick is because I think a lot of people get confused with a turnoff versus an ick. And I kind of wanted to get into that. I had posted on my story, drop your biggest ick. And I was really hoping for like some funny answers or like really quality material. But here's the thing with that. Is I posted it and not a single person wrote down an actual ick. Every single one of these is a turnoff. So we're going to get into what an actual ick is versus a turnoff. And then also I'm going to read these because I want you to understand that these are all turnoffs. Starting at the top, guys with no sense of humor or are super sensitive, people who expect, and then they didn't finish their sentence. The inability to make a decision when he doesn't initiate anything, when they say you are not like other girls, when they make bashing men their personality trait, someone touching me inappropriately on a first date, when she reaches for the door handles knowing that I'm around and I open all of her door handles, bad teeth, I said what I said, you know who you are, men, okay, laziness and dirty when a guy can't communicate but will post on social media. Cleanliness, maintenance. I read this too fast. Come on now. It's ick, not, big D. Terrible running form. Okay, that could be one. That's probably the only one that has posted on my thing that could potentially be an ick, okay? But here's the thing. I don't think that men get icks. And there's a reason for this. We're going to get into why. Men don't get icks because they would never... Actually, first of all, let's pause on that. We are going to break down an ick versus a turnoff. The reason why not a single one of these is an ick, turnoffs can be committed by anyone and it would still be a turnoff, whereas icks are committed by a certain type of person, a certain person, and immediately you lose all attraction to this person. Everything that you thought you liked about them is now out the window because you saw them run funny, okay? And it was embarrassing. The thing with this is I really truly think that the older you get, the less you start to care about these things, because the older you get, the more mature you get, the more silly these things really sound. I think when I was younger, I had a lot more icks of people that I would talk to, just because I think a lot of times icks, you're kind of embarrassed about the person that you're with and you don't want to feel embarrassed by bringing that person around your loved ones. So if they're embarrassing you, if they do something that's kind of slightly embarrassing or cringy, you don't want your friends and family to think that you're cringe because you are now with this person. Whereas when you're older, those things start to matter a lot less. So I like with maturing and being emotionally available, you kind of start to like, those things don't actually really matter. But ick is not, oh, they have really bad behavior. That is a turnoff. Any single person, any person that you ever come in contact with could have bad behavior, whether they were the hottest person ever or were highly attracted to them. If they really had a bad attitude, that eventually is going to turn you off. That is a turnoff. There is a huge difference between, okay, like I did not like that and I'm not going to tolerate that, versus, okay, I just saw him do something kind of cringy and I now am looking at him in a completely different light. Huge difference. I also think that what one girl thinks is an ick, another girl is going to find cute and endearing. Like, for instance, I was texting with this guy for a few days and he was my type physically for sure, but he kept doing things that kind of like irritated me a little bit, in a sense. Not irritated me, but it was kind of just like cringy and like, oof, like I got the ick is what I'm saying. He kept sending me like videos and pictures of himself, right? And cool, love it. I don't mind that at all, usually, unless you're sending me cringy videos, in which case I'm going to get the ick. The last video he sent me was a video of him like flexing in the camera, and it gave me such an ick, and I just like sent some hard eyes, and he was very offended that I didn't fully compliment him, because his love language is words of affirmation, and I just don't think that I get along too much with guys that are words of affirmation love language, because I don't want to feel like I have to validate you all the time. I will do that on my own, but if I feel like you're expecting that from me, it's going to turn me off. But the last video was super cringy, and he was very seriously like trying to be cute in front of the camera, and I couldn't do it anymore. That probably wouldn't have worked out anyway, because realistically, I don't think that I would be able to give him what he wants. We're moving on from that. But okay, so the reason why that was an ick is because now that I say talking, but it's been like a couple of days. It's really nothing like crazy. But talking to another guy, the London guy, and he literally sent me a video of him like flexing, but it was like in a funny way, right? Like he was kind of like making fun of himself doing it. And I was like, that's kind of cute and funny. I didn't think cringe at all. There's a huge difference. I did not get the ick with him at all. And he asked me yesterday, he's like, what is your ick? And I'm like, when guys are like too feminine in front of the camera and like take it seriously, like that is kind of where I draw the line. I hope you didn't take that the wrong way, because I didn't think his videos gave me the ick at all. But anyway, so I was kind of debating on whether or not this was an ick. Okay, if a guy, Actually, I think it's more of a turnoff. Okay, like if a guy was wearing like an Ed Hardy t-shirt, that would turn me off. It doesn't matter if he is the hottest guy, if he, he was just my type and he was wearing an Ed Hardy t-shirt. I'm immediately going to be turned off by that. It's not even going to give me the ick. I feel like the ick is if a specific person wore an Ed Hardy t-shirt and I'm like, ew, no, like take that off. But realistically, if any guy were to wear an Ed Hardy t-shirt and like be seriously wearing it, I think I would just be turned off. Like, cause in a sense, like I have an idea of the type of people that wear that kind of clothing. And if you do, I'm so sorry, but it's just not my kind of person. And yeah, we would have some serious problems and troubles if you were wearing an Ed Hardy t-shirt or really anything that's like kind of gaudy. So that would be like a turnoff. That would not be an ick, because an ick, again, is specific to a specific group of people or very niche. An ick is niche, okay? I do not think that guys get the ick. And I'm going to explain why. Women get icks for one of two reasons. And men, on the other hand, do not get icks because... Actually, let's get into the two reasons for women. Number one, your subconscious is telling you that you're settling for this person, but your conscious mind hasn't caught up to that yet. You're settling, you're making excuses. I think a lot of time as women, we are told that we should give people chances that maybe aren't fully attractive or on our level in any other way. We're told time and time again to give people chances that maybe aren't even at our level. So I think the first reason why women would get the ick is because your subconscious mind is telling you that this is not it. Where your conscious mind hasn't fully caught up and accepted that idea that you're downgrading with this person. The second reason why I think that women get the ick is the complete opposite of that, which is you are not fully healed or fully emotionally available, and you know that this person is going to be the absolute catch for you. They are everything that you're looking for, but you don't feel comfortable with someone who is emotionally available, someone who is able to give you what you need in a relationship, because you're not there yet. You're not ready for a healthy relationship. So you will nitpick things about them to push them away. I think this happens more often than not because we're not fully emotionally available to where you're willing to accept that person fully for everything that they are, knowing that they are going to be an incredible match for you. Two complete opposites, two polar opposite things. But those are the two reasons why someone would get the ick. And I think that it takes a lot of self-awareness and reflection to understand which one you fall under. And it might be different for different guys. But don't settle. Have a certain standards, right, for yourself. But also be open to the guy that might be a little cringe. Because I promise you, those guys probably are going to treat you a lot better than the guys who are too fucking cool for school. I do not believe that men get the ick. And this is why. Men don't get the ick because men do not mess with girls. They don't even entertain a girl that they are not fully interested in or fully attracted to. So if he's not attracted to her, he's not even going to entertain her. I've been thinking long and hard for the past 2 days about what could possibly be an ick for a man. Like a true ick. And I can only think of one thing. The one thing that I thought of was because I was watching a show, Married at First Sight. I forgot which season. There's so many seasons. But this couple, they started off really fucking strong. But eventually, I think it scared him because he wasn't emotionally available. So he did everything to nitpick the relationship and think, oh, this isn't going to work because of this. This isn't going to work because of this. He got the ick for her doing a baby voice. She did like a really, when she got excited, she did like this like high-pitched baby voice. And he mentioned in one of their therapy sessions that it was very cringe and he was immediately turned off, couldn't think of her after that day as like sexually attractive. So I think that could be an ick. But again, in his case, I think it was an emotionally unavailable because they could have been a really good fit if they were both healed and ready for a marriage. They didn't end up working out. But had he been fully available, that would have worked out. But it's really about where you're at in life. And I think that the more that you're okay with accepting people fully for who they are and not really caring about what everyone else thinks, I think the more you care about what everyone else thinks too, the more you're going to get the ick. Because the ick is a cringy moment, or like something that someone's wearing, or something that someone's doing, or the way that someone's like dancing or something that you find cringy, and immediately get like I don't want you to be seen with me because I'm embarrassed by that behavior. That is an ick. But I want to get into some examples because I think that I actually found these like really good understanding, like ones that you can fully understand online. So icks could be like men wearing goggles. Guys, let's talk about that, because I thought about this, and honestly, unless you're like a pro swimmer, there's no reason for you to be wearing goggles, or for like snorkeling or something, like, but do not. Like, I feel like, but I will say that this is more of an ick, because I think that if I was fully attracted to a guy and he was like, hey, like, pass me the goggles, I wouldn't think twice about it. But if a guy that I was kind of on the fence about that hasn't fully grown on me yet, I'd be a little like, oh. And girls, don't even come for me, okay? If a guy's wearing goggles, it's kind of weird, okay? Well, so you could see underwater? Like, why? Close your eyes. It's not, like, we don't need to be seeing underwater. Running funny, I went over that. Baby voices, went over that. Legs swinging, I just kind of thought about this. But, like, when a guy is in a chair and his feet don't hit the ground and his legs are just swinging, I think that would be kind of fucking funny with a guy that I was attracted to. Whereas if I wasn't attracted to him, I'd be like, no, absolutely not. Definitely an ick. Men using social media. I kind of brought this up, but I really truly think that this might be my biggest ick, is when a guy, and I say that this is an ick because I haven't canceled people out for this. I've talked to guys that take social media very seriously, but are also somewhat getting paid or like have brand deals, whatever. So, but I've talked to guys that have cringy social medias. And let's talk about it, because I think with an ick, it also gives this like kind of like feminine characteristic to the guy, to where you don't think about him the same way. And I think when guys post certain things on social media, like the kissy faces, and when they're being serious about it, that's when it's cringy. But if they're jokingly like, peace and like pouty face, and they're being funny about it, that's completely fucking different. Because I've talked to guys that really are on social media and that are very like, oh, like the modeling kind of thing, whatever, or like post videos of them like getting ready and stuff like that on TikTok. And I've entertained it before, so I'm not going to say that I'm canceling it out, but I think that there is a line, and when we do stop talking, it immediately becomes like, ew, I cannot believe I even entertained this. But that would be like an ick, because I've been open to it before. But I will say that there was as an example, found this guy on TikTok, or not on TikTok, on Hinge. He was absolutely beautiful. Like, he was handsome, 10 out of 10. Not my type, but he was very attractive. Very, very, very attractive. And I was like so about ready to like match with him in an instant. But then I was scrolling on his profile, and I scrolled down to a video, and I was like, oh, it has the TikTok watermark. Let's go to the TikTok. I plug in his TikTok, and he posted the most cringiest videos on TikTok that I could not get past. Like, it was, I forgot what the videos were even about, but the way that he was trying to be like cute and sexy in front of the camera gave me very like feminine vibes. And I'm like, absolutely fucking not. We're not dealing with this. Immediately X'd out of him. I don't care how good looking he is. There's a fine line to be drawn on social media when you are trying way too hard as a man. It's not attractive. Women will find you very feminine. We're not attracted to feminine qualities in men, okay? Most of us. I think that there are some people out there that are, but those are usually a little bit more masculine women, and that's fine. But I would say as a majority, it's cringy and we're going to be making fun of you. Keep your like pouty faces, mirror pics where you're like really trying way too hard to yourself. It's not cute. But that would be really where I would draw the line. Okay, but I saw these examples on TikTok and I had to share because I feel like these are actually really fucking great examples of ick versus turnoffs. So a turnoff would be a bad relationship with his mom. So this is like a huge turnoff for me. It's not even a turnoff. I almost think that it might be borderline red flag. Every single guy that I've ever talked to that has had a bad relationship with his mom does not know how to treat women. And that is just a fact. He doesn't even respect his mom. If he can't respect the one person that gave him life into this world, he's not going to respect you. Great question to ask is like, oh, what's your relationship like with your mom? Because that's going to tell you so much about how he's going to treat you down the line. If he's done therapy, it's fine and like actually worked through it. Otherwise, it's going to be a problem. If he hasn't learned his lesson through that, he's going to continue the pattern in the relationship. Anyways, I'm gotten way too far into that one, but that would be a huge turnoff, borderline red flag. An ick that's kind of similar in that realm would be a guy calling his mom mommy. Do you know what I mean? Like, do you get that? Like, like if I was talking to a guy and he got on the phone and I was like, wow, I think so highly of this guy. And then he got on the phone. He's like, hey, mommy. I stopped calling my mom mommy at maybe like 2 or 3. So like maybe don't do that because you look like a child. And I'm going to assume that you have some kind of weird mommy son dynamic that I don't even want to get into. I've never dated a mommy's boy before, but a good relationship with your mom, that's like beautiful, chef's kiss, the best kind of people that you want to be around, the guys that are going to treat you well, have a good relationships with their moms, and that's just what it is, okay? But if he calls it the mommy, weird, definitely an ick. Turn off would be like smoking, okay? I don't mind weed so much, whatever, if that's what you're into. Cigarettes, absolutely not. That would be a deal breaker for me, I think, because I've dated guys that have smoked before and like kissing them is just gross. Not for me. Definitely a big turn off. But an ick, on the other hand, would be attempting to French inhale and then failing at it and then pretending that you did it to look cool and then boasting about it to look cool. That's the ick. Like, if you're trying too hard, it's an ick. Another one. I see this with a lot with girls saying this. Bad style. Guys, I'm sure this might be one of theirs as well, but bad style for girls, let's talk about that, because that was before younger me, probably a deal breaker. Like, I would not want my guy to have any type of bad style because you're not gonna come like be by me with bad style and it's embarrassing. I'm not gonna have you seen by me if you're gonna embarrass me, right? Don't embarrass me in front of all my friends is what I say to everyone all the time. It's just a saying. It's like my bit. I always say, like, don't embarrass me in front of all my friends. It's just like jokingly, but also don't. I say it ironically too, like, I don't have any friends around and my mom will do something. I'm like, don't embarrass me in front of all my friends. Like, the irony of like not having any friends in sight. Get it? Anyway, I think the more that you grow up, the less you care about this. Also, you can fix someone's style if it's really that bad. So that would just be a turnoff. An ick, on the other hand, would be like someone is wearing slides with no socks on, and their toes are like crawling on the outside, and they're like going down a hill, and very oddly specific. That is why it makes it an ick. And I'm actually very disappointed in my following, because you guys, I thought you were gonna bring it. You did not. Maybe one person sort of kind of brought it, but like, let's be honest, it was a flop. Lastly, I would say like bad hygiene, turn off, big turn off. A lot of people say this. A lot of people say this. Hygiene, that is a turn off, because anyone, the hottest person in the world, could have bad hygiene. You're still going to be turned off by it. Whereas an ick on the other side of that would be like, didn't shower after the gym and was really sweaty, and like still hasn't showered in the past like day after that gym session. Like, that would be an ick. Like, okay, like, well, no, because that could really count for anyone. Honestly, if I'm into you, I love sweat. I'm sorry. That's what it is. But let's get it straight. If anyone can fall into the category, it's a turnoff. If, on the other hand, it's very niche, specific set of people or person doing a specific task, wearing a specific thing, whatever, what have you, it's an ick. I hope this video brought you a little bit more clarity on what an ick is, because it seems that no one understands fully what an ick is versus a turnoff. Okay. But that is it for this week's episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. This might have been kind of a shorter one, maybe not, I don't know. But that's kind of all I had to say. And again, if you have not done so already, now is your time to leave that 5-star rating, hit that subscribe button, follow me on Instagram, TikTok at RespectfullyGabby. You guys are so amazing. Thank you so much for tuning in every week, and I cannot wait to talk with you on Tuesday.